All right, so welcome to another video. Today we're going to take a look at Netflix, and this stock is really selling off badly. So I'm going to go ahead and take some insight on this for you on the charts. Stay tuned. So before we get started, remember, it's not recommendations to buy or sell any stock. All right, let's kick things off. And by the way, if you want to go ahead and get some of these analysis, feel free to sign up to our Discord channel and server, which you can get the link in the description or on our website. So anyways, as we go into Netflix and take a look at just this stock, just recently, the stock released earnings. So if you look at it, the stock plummets like 20%. It's huge. And, some people say it's dead money, overcooked, but I will say that this stock has been trending to the upside for quite a while. So if you just look at that stock, over the last, 5 years, this stock's been doing phenomenal. But now we got this really nasty pullback, and it almost brings it back to kind of 2018 when you think about it. So look at this nasty pullback. It's huge. It's a huge, huge pullback. Otherwise, we've been kind of trending on the upside here. And now we've got this big drawdown, and that is a problem. So let's back things up a little bit. Let's go into, we're going to go into a quarterly. And if you look at the quarterly on the charts, you can see that this trend actually has been fairly nicely from a channel perspective. So this stock's been doing fantastic and doing well. Now, we were kind of trending in this middle area on these trend channels, and now we're getting a pullback. So this pullback is kind of minimal when you think about it for the last 20 years. But 20 years is a long time, right? So we don't always look at that from a trading perspective or holding perspective. So if maybe you're in your 20s right now and you're thinking, hey, maybe the next 20, 40 years, this stock might be fine, then that's fine. But support's going to be kind of at the lower end of this if you're looking at the longer term. If we start going into a little more of the monthly, this is where things get a little more rocky. So the monthly, as we look at the chart, meaning each bar represents a month, what's happening here is take a look at this trend level right here, where we're getting a breakdown of that trend. And today's the day where it's getting a breakdown. And because of that, this gets nasty. Usually I will say that anytime something nasty like this happens, or a huge sell-off or a huge pop, give it 3 to 5 days minimum to see how price behaves. Because what you might see is you get the sell-off that's pretty nasty, and you might get a snap up, or you'll get like a little wiggle sideways and then a further rollover, or you get a base and slowly start grinding up. So you'll see how this will behave soon. Right now, it's a little too early to tell, because right now everybody's trying to get out all at once, and this is where the selling action takes place. But nevertheless, even here, and this trend and time frame, this does not look good, because once this is broken, what typically then starts to happen is it doesn't just snap right back into the trend. Usually what happens is they start selling off. You might get a retest of that upper level and then roll back and then comes back, and then you find like a base somewhere over here, and then you start rolling back over. But for now, usually this is done for a while. If you're a longer term investor, this could be an opportunity to buy more. But again, I'd probably wait another week or two, because if you're a long term investor, you're not in a rush to get it right now. Why would you try to average into the price right now? Be patient. You can always average in when it's down at even lower levels maybe. So as we get into maybe more like a 2 or 3 day time frame, here is again, let's go to maybe a 3 day right here. So checking this out, like, around 2019, you saw this stock hit some 250 levels. So I do think this will be some serious support there. Right now, 400 was also a critical support level, because you could see some swing points here that we're hitting. So this would have been support. Like up here, this is resistance, but this should have been support, right? Now, it could come back up throughout the day or the next couple of days, meaning just the same way that we've broken through past resistance or support levels, and then it'll come back right away very quickly. So it can do something like that. But you'll have to see, if it does continue to roll over and the weakness comes in, then you might see a retest at certain other levels like the 300 or 250, because the sell-off is pretty nasty. So watch out. And this is kind of on a 3 day, right? If we start going into the daily, you got a large gap, and gaps do typically get filled, but it takes time. It's, like this might continue going lower, and then slowly later that gap will get filled, but it's not going to be in a day or anything like that. So going back again to this kind of 3 day time frame, I think some of the critical levels that you need to watch is right here. This 400, if we can't get above that in the next week, right? And we're looking at a week, because this could draw down the same way that we happen to go above it and sell off. And then you're also looking at this 250 level. Similar concept here. Okay, give it that extra wiggle room. Like for a movement this big, you got to give it like plus or minus like $30 move. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you're trading too large, then reduce your size. You got to give it like a wide range when stuff is this volatile. You got to give it that extra room. So anyways, so the stock got a little toppy, frothy here, sold off in a big way. Here we've got, check this out, we've got this support at around 250. So this could be a good value buying area for some shorter term trading. From the longer term trading, you know, you're looking at, as we go back up into kind of our weekly, for that longer term trading, what you're watching for is, notice these levels right here. We are toast from that swing point actually, from the swing trading, but the longer term here, sorry, multi-year trade, you're kind of right here in this trend line right there. So you're not fully there yet. If you're trying to buy on value and buy on dip, this is kind of that price level that you're looking at. So if I draw this here, that price level is actually around 150 or so. So it's still got a while to go if you're looking at it that way, but that may not happen. Obviously, because this stock, you know, people love these stocks. So what could happen is, you know, you're coming back kind of like this, where it's nasty. So you could get kind of like a nasty pullback, could come here and then roll there. If we break this, that stock is really in trouble. But for long term, I think this is kind of a trend that'll hold, but that's a long way away. That's a $150 stock from a $700 stock. You're going down to 150. That's expensive. From this 3-day perspective, what we're watching, and this is kind of why I just hate trading earnings, you're looking at, hey, there's a level, here's a level at 400, and you got a level at around 250. So you're watching like everything come in at around this 400. That's a problem. Volume is picking up huge very quickly. If you just look at this volume, I've got 12 million. Let me just take off the truncating because I trimmed the volume. But look, you've got a lot of volume coming in. Actually, you probably already knew they were going to dump it because the day before, they were already dumping a lot of shares, and you can see, and they were already dumping it right here. They just decided to dump more of it there. So they already knew it was going to happen. You think they don't know? They know. So anyway, so that's my personal take on it. Is I think from the shorter term perspective, you could see slight little bounces here if you're doing like, you know, day trade or trade for a week, or like trading something like a vertical spread for the upside. It's possible. From just the technicals, usually after earnings, you need like 3 to 5 days. So just give it that time frame just to digest and then reevaluate. And if you're looking at it from the longer term perspective, this is the line you're kind of watching. And we're looking here at the monthly. Here we're looking at the quarterly. You can see it's still holding that quarterly time frame, but this is like a 20-year chart, and not all of us are disciplined enough to hold through something like this. So anyways, be careful on this one, I will say, because it can be very volatile very quick, and this day does not make the bulls feel good. So anyway, stay nimble and stick to your discipline on your trade, what you were planning for, if you're the long-term holder or the short-term holder. I would be careful though adding in things too quickly to try and average down. If you're a long-term investor, you might want to wait again 3 to 5 days to see, because you could be averaging at, right now you're averaging at 387, but you could be averaging at 250 in a couple weeks from now or a month from now. So just watch to see what the price action does over this next week or two, and then it'll give you a better indication, because then they'll digest this move and it'll let things settle a bit in the chart. All right, thanks for joining me. I'll see you on the next video.